Hey everybody, welcome to Just Let It Do podcast, where you can listen to a moron, a Nimrod, and a doofus ramble aimlessly about all things geek. I'm Joel, here with Chris and Johnny,
Hello.
and our topic today is Ninja Turtles. So we're going to be talking about movies, both the original and the new stuff, comic books, cartoons, video games. So let's start with the original movie, Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, to be exact.
1990?
1990 or 1991. I believe it was 1990.
1990.
Hands down, I don't care what anybody says. Best fucking Ninja Turtle movie
Yep.
ever. Everything else beyond that, past that, was
Personally, it is 10 for 10 for my personal rating. But that is like what that movie means to me and how I like it. I think it's a 10 out of 10. I think they did nothing wrong. I think it went well. As far as a rating for most people and how I think most people will receive it.
Community rating.
Yeah, community rating. I believe it to be a 7 out of 10. Nothing lower than a 6. No, it's definitely at least bare minimum 7 out of 10. You should go see it. You shouldn't. I think most people that see it would at least enjoy it and be like, it was a good movie. So that's me personally.
I agree. I always claim it to be top 3 favorite movies of all time, which being Die Hard, Ghostbusters, and then Ninja Turtles right under those. It's literally one of my favorite movies of all time. I could watch it over and over. I see very little flaw in it. If I had to, I could nitpick certainly, but there's very little wrong with that movie. Again, just everything I can ask for them, like in terms of doing the turtles right and like the characters right, they did it all right.
That movie got a lot of criticism when it came out, though.
Yeah,
A lot of parents complaining that it was too violent, too dark, and
that's what
I
led.
don't know. Seeing it now, I don't see how that
Okay,
movie
because
being dark.
if you saw the cartoon, the Ninja Turtles when they came out in comics had no personality. They were all like grr, and they all had the red on.
They were.
They were just like, let's do this. Like there was no.
And they were pretty violent.
And they
They
were
were,
pretty
yeah.
violent.
They straight up killed the foot soldiers. And the foot soldiers were not robots.
So you're looking at a violent, and then the cartoon came out, and they were like these laughable, like they're hitting robots. It's nothing personal. It's just
It was
And
campy. It was super.
it was super campy.
80s cartoon. Like it's just,
If you watch that show, like there's no storyline. The storylines I would come up with, it was just. But then they went into movie, and they kind of went back to origins and went more with the comic, like a mixture of both. And they made Raphael more like the comic where he's grr, rather than being just a jokester, because in the cartoon they were both Michelangelo and Raphael were both
kind of the goofy ones.
goofy ones.
Yeah.
And they mentioned when they were writing the script that it's hard to tell the difference between the two of them, so they made Raphael darker. And my God,
Oh my goodness.
oh God, those brothers. Doesn't matter how bad the movie is, and there have been some bad movies. Somehow, I believe even in the worst, I may have to watch Ninja Turtles 3 again.
Yeah.
That was a horrendous movie, but I'm pretty sure in every single movie, no matter how bad it was, the brothers were intact. All 4 Ninja Turtles were intact. Their actions towards each other and the situation that arose to them were on point.
Yeah, I think I have to agree.
All because of that movie.
Even with part 2, which wasn't as bad as part 3, but it still was kind of really campy. I feel like part 2, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like part 2 was the closest to the cartoon.
That's what they were trying to do.
While part 1, I have to go back to part 1 because just I can't express how good it is. Just the script and the acting. I don't know. I can't. It's hard to describe because like you said with someone else going into the movie like later on, without growing up with it, they'll probably be like, yeah, this is alright, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? But Casey Jones was perfect. All 4 turtles were perfect.
April.
Another thing is like a lot of people would I've heard this argument. Well, every fucking movie is like Leonardo and Raphael fighting. Which, okay, that's understandable because there's always like a part in like almost every
Even in part 2.
Literally even in part 2. I don't think they did in part 3, but part 3 was just awful. But they do it in every single movie, and like it almost comes to the point where it's almost like, why the hell are even Donatello and Michelangelo in it? But even with that being said, their parts, Michelangelo and Donatello, were still what they needed to be, if that makes any sense. Like, my goodness, I can't. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Donatello and Michelangelo, or Michelangelo's sitting waiting for the pizza guy in the sewer, and Donatello's riding on the skateboard, and they sit down with each other and they talk about when, because Doctor Splinter, Splinter, it was like, one day I'd be gone and stuff like that. And they have this
You ever
heart
think
to
about
heart. Donnie has this heart to heart talk.
What Splinter was saying?
Yeah, about not having them. And I've actually heard people criticize this scene because that's when Michelangelo's looking. I think he throws away the toothpick and he folds his arm and he goes, pizza guy's late.
Pizza guy's got 30 seconds.
Pizza guy's like 30 seconds, and he says nothing about it. But if you really think about it, that scene, that's Michelangelo. He doesn't want to go into that territory of thinking
what if
Splinter's gone?
He doesn't want to worry about that.
He doesn't even want to worry about it.
He
completely dodged the question because that's what he's lighthearted. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to he doesn't even want to imagine it. So he just threw the quiet. He didn't even answer the question. Just this guy's got 30 seconds. I love that scene. That's one of those scenes where the actors didn't have to talk. It was in the actions of the turtles that made you understand their characters. I just wanted to point that out because a lot of people will go oh, okay, so Michelangelo just ignored him. I've actually heard online some
I've heard people mention, well, that scene doesn't make sense. What are you talking about? It made all the sense in the world.
That's their
Donatello wanted to know, how would you feel? And Michelangelo was like, pizza dude late. Well, that's
I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of scenes in that movie that are just.
When was the last time you watched the movie?
Last time I saw Ninja Turtles, first one, had to have been, I don't know, maybe within the last year or so.
Okay.
Sometime within the last year or so.
Last time I want to say about that, about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Or a year ago.
3 months ago was the last time I saw that movie.
Really? Well,
because I played it again, just because I needed to see it. I'm like, I need to see this, and I put it up, and I'm like,
such powerful scenes in that movie too. For being really think about it, Ninja Turtles is the dumbest concept you can ever think of.
The guys were drunk when they made
Turtles.
The guys were drunk when they made it. They were drunk, and they had 4 pet turtles. They named them. They were like, now they fight their nemesis, and they took out a cheese shredder from their kitchen, and they put it down, and they're like, look at the money they're making now.
Dude, and again,
and they withstand the test of time.
With the movie, again, just powerful scenes, when the headquarters gets attacked, and they walk into, it gives me chills thinking about it. They walk into the sewers, and everything's trashed, and you see them walk in. Raphael walks in first, ahead, and looks around. Donatello drops to his knees and just looks down, and then the camera circles around Raphael, and he just lets out this this. It gives me chills, man.
Leonardo goes in. No, I remember the scene.
Okay, go ahead.
Leonardo goes in first.
Yeah.
With his swords out.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Donatello, Michelangelo come in. Donnie drops to his knees, and Raph shoves his way through them all with his size in his hand, and that's when the camera starts spinning, and he's just like. And then after the scream, you see a couple people walking, and they look down at the sewers.
Yeah, and they were like, "What the hell?" That, and also, I want to mention one more scene that was really freaking good.
Damn!
Well, that's just hilarious.
Yeah.
That whole, oh my god, the whole Casey Jones scene was amazing. Damn it, there was one more scene I wanted to point out. That was really good.
Donnie and Casey? The Michael.
Well, Donnie and Casey, that whole, when they're in the bars, such character development.
No, I'm talking about. Oh yeah, well, when they're in the farm.
In the farm, yeah.
Okay. And when they were practicing, when they were, dude.
That whole movie was just really good.
It was just fantastic.
Just from from an aesthetic
Perspective.
perspective, it was better than the new movies. Because don't get me wrong, yeah, in a lot of movies you're trying to bring a lot of things to life. You might need CG, but the new movies it's entirely CG.
Yeah.
And it's not like what they've been doing with Star Wars, where it's partially animatronics and partially CG. The Force Awakens, they try to stay true to the
Yeah.
original and try to do as
Jurassic
much
Park.
animatronics.
Yeah, Jurassic Park were half
try to
CG
use
and
try to use animatronics as much as possible to keep it lifelike, and then put the CG in where it was needed. This movie, there was no CG. It was all visual effects. And
I
Yeah.
I say this every single time. I don't know how many masks they had. I don't know how many costumes they had. I don't know like the details of this movie, and they really need to have a making of this movie, like in deep detailing because even the part 2 costumes aren't as good as part 1. The part 3
Yeah, no.
costumes
Part
were
three
way
was-
part
worse.
3 was
Terrible.
terrible.
Like whoever did this original costume, like I would pay them. I would pay them to make me a turtle suit.
Jim Henson.
Because that
There's a reason why Jim Henson did like everything, because they were really good.
there's a part after the whole Raphael screaming. April hears the doorbell ring. She opens it.
Leo goes Splinter,
And she's like, "What's wrong?" And he says, "Splinter." But his lips move and literally mouth out Splinter.
Yeah.
What?
Not just like a sock puppet.
Yeah,
up
yeah,
and
not
down.
just like the Noir movies.
His lips move. He literally goes Splinter.
Like the new, I believe part 2 and 3. They're just like I bet.
They just open and close.
Yeah, it's just open and close. Yeah.
It's
fucking fantastic. I like it's one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies of all time. Hands down. 10 out of 10 for my score as well.
Yeah.
for you personally.
I'd have to say 10 out of 10. I mean, that movie, like you said, there was a lot of character development like built into that movie, which was great. Casey Jones, the actor that played Casey Jones.
By the way, he did an
He
amazing
was
job.
fantastic.
Fantastic Casey Jones.
Yeah, I don't like.
April O'Neil was good.
Like
I don't know why they replaced April O'Neil in the new movies and added Megan Fox.
Dude,
Does anybody know?
Don't even get. We'll save that for a little later.
Yeah, well, yeah. But yeah, Ninja Turtles 1, fantastic movie. I think that was a 10 out of 10 for me. Let's talk about part 2 and part 3 real quick. I mean, part 2,
Okay.
the reason why they did a lot of things in part 2, they changed a lot of things in part 2. If you're watching the movie, you notice they didn't use any of their weapons.
No, that's like one of the
and
biggest
that was
things.
like the biggest complaint about the first one, was that they used their weapons and stuff, and it was like, all right, they were trying to, they were trying to please parents.
Yes.
And I was we forgot to bring that up somewhere, and I wanted to bring that up. Well, yeah, parents were pissed off because Leonardo's swinging his swords at ninjas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Those
real
ninjas
live
were not robots.
Yeah,
There were kids at top of that too. There were like teenagers and stuff. If you notice,
Yeah.
there was the teenagers that were that were running away.
They were
Whatever.
running
They
away.
were training
like,
to be foot
to
soldiers.
To be fair, they did. I feel they did an alright job, because I still liked part 2 when I was a kid. Even though I watch it now, and I'm like, yeah, this is not good.
I think it's good. They had the argument still.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's a nice mixture of the cartoon to the movie.
Yes.
That is a perfect blend.
Yes.
Where it's funny, it's it's campy.
But sometimes they do have their
Yeah.
more serious parts, like Leo and Raph fighting. It's all right.
Somebody tell me what was part 3. Well, what was the title of it?
Turtles in Time.
Turtles.
No,
it
it wasn't.
Time. No,
It wasn't.
Turtles
No, it
in Time was what
the
they
game.
started calling it, and that was the game. But it was just called Ninja Turtles 3.
Really?
No,
Part 2 was
there
Secret of
was-
the Use, right?
Secret of the Use. Part 3 didn't have a subtitle.
It was just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3?
It was just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. In recent years, when the DVDs came out, some people started, I think some of them, they started putting Turtles in Time or whatever. But yeah, Turtles in Time was essentially the game. Part 3 didn't have a thing.
Are we sure? I could have sworn it was called
look it up right now.
Blast from the Past or something dumb.
No,
I could have
no.
sworn it was called something stupid.
No, there was no title. They started giving it a title though in recent years.
Okay.
I think if you look at it on like Amazon Video or something, it might have a title. But when it first came out, it did not. It was just Ninja Turtles 3.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles 3.
No,
Yep.
no, yeah. It
And-
just says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
And that was just terrible.
Crap.
Their costumes they're terrible. The premise is terrible.
Look at those things.
Yeah, it's
They just look
they
so
just look
stupid.
bad. Leo had like the longest face and
With his teeth out like that.
yeah, his teeth sticking out and
Hold up. Was Corey Feldman Donatello?
yes, he did the voice.
For the original?
He did Corey Feldman
No,
did
no.
the voice for Donnie for all 3 movies.
Oh, really?
For Donnie for all 3 movies?
All 3, yep.
That's shot. I thought he was only in part 3. I don't know why I thought that.
He was in all 3.
Wait, no. No, hold up. I'm going to look that up because the guy who does Donatello's voice in the first one is he shows up in the movie. He's in a foot soldier mask, but he does a impression of a Asian guy.
No, it was not the voices. I'm talking about the voices. Corey Feldman did the voice. The actor that played in the Donatello suit showed up in the movie without not in the suit.
Yes, okay,
and
that's
that's
what it was.
And that's
Yes.
the same with all the other actors that played
Well,
in the Ninja Turtle suits.
Yeah, all those
They
previous
all-
suits, they all
showed up.
showed up, but
That was
Or
my
somebody
voice.
showed up. Like, all right, so the guy in the cab in the first Ninja
was
Turtle movie.
Raphael's voice.
Yeah, the guy in the cab.
The guy who was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Raphael's voice.
Yes. The pizza guy was Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm.
His actor, I think, not his voice actor, was it? Pretty sure it was the guy in the suit.
Might have been. Yeah.
What about who? Excuse me. What about
And then Leonardo, the punk
Yeah,
kid.
he was one of the punks in Shredder's
Yeah.
level hideout, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah. But part 2, like I said, it's campy. Yeah. Part 3.
What would you
not
give
good.
rating? Our rating
For part 2.
for part 2 and 3.
For part 2, my rating and community rating is the same. I think it's 5, maybe a 6. Like I give it pretty much a 6 because I give it a 6 because anyone who's a fan of Ninja Turtles and your kids already will enjoy that movie.
Yeah.
They will by far enjoy that movie.
Yeah.
7, you don't have to be a Ninja Turtles fan.
Yeah.
I mean, part 1, you don't have to be a Ninja Turtles fan to enjoy
To-
it, which is
to
why I give it a
enjoy
7
it. It's just
as a
a good
community.
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
agree with
agree.
that.
I agree.
Part 3. A 3.
A 3.
I give it a 3.
I found it
because
funny.
It is hilariously bad.
Yep. I agree.
It's hilarious. Yeah, I can watch that movie and laugh at how horrible it is.
So, new movies.
Oh boy.
Secret
got-
of the Ooze? No, Secret of
no.
the Ooze is part 2.
That's part
Part 2, the original part 2.
It was
The
just
new
Teen-
part
it was
2,
just
Out of the
Teen-
Shadows.
Out of the Shadows is the second one.
So the first Ninja Turtle movie, the new one that had came out back in 2013, 2014, I think it was. I think it was like 2014.
All this technology in
I
our
don't
hands, which
think-
are lazy to look it up.
I don't
No,
think
no, no.
it. I don't think it was.
2014, yes.
I don't think it was. It wasn't as bad as I had originally anticipated. But it wasn't very good either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the origin from that movie, if you actually are reading the current Ninja Turtle comic book, from IDW, it kind of falls in line with that.
Yeah.
With the whole April and taking care of the turtles and Splinter in the lab and stuff. Kind of.
I do.
Because that's in the comic.
Talking about the origin, I have some stuff about to say about the movie itself. But I do like how April is connected to the Turtles, because like it's almost like too coincidental for some people. But I kind of like it because then it gives her some kind of emotional connection with the Turtles. She isn't just some random bitch who's just following the Turtles for no freaking reason. She has some kind of emotional connection to them. She's known them for like all of her life. My thing was, and I thought was the stupidest part of the movie, was Splinter and his ninja book. And how he randomly found a ninja book in the sewer, and he's like, "I'm gonna read this book and learn how to fight." Obviously, the people who wrote that do not understand martial arts and how it works, because you cannot become a master by reading a book.
Stop. Just before we move, what was April O'Neil's connection with the Turtles? I can't remember. That's how bad the movie was. I legitimately forgot.
Her father was a researcher.
Yeah, her father was a scientist, and they were doing experiments on
she
the turtles.
Kid?
And she was the kid that was there, and she was on that.
Yeah, she was a guy. Okay, I remember that. Yes,
the turtles and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember.
And she gave them the names, I believe.
Yeah. So it was in the new IDW comic book. It's something kind of similar to that, where she's actually working with this. So she's an intern there.
Yeah.
And she's the one experimenting on the turtles, and it was something similar.
Yeah.
Something similar to that. She got the animals out or whatever.
I thought that movie was bad. It was as bad as I thought it would be. The movie was bad. Here's the thing. It was bad. If I would take those four away, the four turtles away, and add Bruce Willis to that movie, would that movie have been just as good?
It would have been shit.
It was the turtles that made me able to watch it.
Yes, the thing, and I remember walking out of the theater when I watched this movie the first time, and I was like, the only reason why I was mildly entertained with this movie was because that was the best scene, but how well the turtles were written. They were definitely their character without a doubt. Script was pretty good for them, and that elevator scene was amazing. That encapsulated the turtles. I don't care what anyone says. That literally encapsulates the turtles.
I didn't like the way they looked, and by the end of the movie, they kind of grew on me. I was like, I guess I'm okay with it. By part two, it didn't even affect me how they looked. It didn't even bother me at all.
Yeah.
Because they were the turtles.
Yeah.
Yes.
They acted so much like them that their physical looks literally didn't matter to me anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't care that Michelangelo was like 3 foot and Donnie was like 6'10". Like, it didn't affect me.
Tall as heck. Can we just say how bad Megan Fox is as a choice to April O'Neil?
What are you talking? April O'Neil's not in the movie, though.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Right? April O'Neil's not in the movie. There's not one redhead chick in that movie.
Yeah, and it's Megan Fox as herself. If you look at the credits, it just says Megan
Fox, right? Yeah, so it's just Megan Fox as herself. Like, that's the only...
But wasn't the scene sexy in part two when she was like the school guard fetish? And I was
like, what the hell?
It's like one of the first scenes in that movie too.
Terrible. Yeah, that's. I like that in the second one. They introduced Bebop and Rocksteady finally to live action film. I don't like that they were creeps. I mean,
I didn't mind that Seamus played.
I like the way he had the Irish accent. Yeah.
The way he had it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna hate it. I was fine with it.
Yeah, I mean,
it was fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that the characters are supposed to be criminals and everything, but I like criminals from the 90s. I'm sorry.
I do have to say one more thing about that. I like how Bebop and Rocksteady were in the fight scene. The one fight scene with the tank and just the turtles fighting Bebop and Rocksteady was awesome. It felt like
amazing.
It was like
a turtle show.
What we always wanted.
I have to be honest. I don't even remember them fighting. The only fighting I remember this is like the second movie I barely saw it and I barely remember it. So the only fight scene that the fight scene, quote unquote, is the only thing that I remember about this movie. Was I don't know. when they were chasing Stephen Amell down the road and he just found some wheels and made some skates and
Oh
was
dear
skating
Lord,
down the
that's like
street.
literally one of the worst scenes. That whole
That's the
ending.
only thing I remember, and I'm like, this is.
Oh God,
That
was
that
so
whole skating
bad.
thing with the wheels, right?
Mhm.
That reminded
He
me
literally
of
put wheels on his
Batman.
shoes.
That reminded me of Batman and Robin.
Oh, God.
When they went to
No.
go fight Mr. Freeze.
Anything that reminds you of that movie is just shit.
That is what it reminded me.
And then I love how like
of.
the Foot Ninjas jumped at the other guy, Vernon or whatever, and
Yeah.
April O'Neil, and like
And
April
this
pushed
movie-
the one bitch, and she's like this skilled ass ninja, and she gets pushed and gets knocked the fuck out.
In this
I was
movie,
like,
they're actually ninjas. They're actually foot soldiers. They're ninjas. In the first movie, they were just
Like
a
SWAT guys.
gang, guys
Yeah.
with machine guns. They were mercs.
Real quick. Here's the question that I have. The thing. One, how did you not remember that tank scene? Like the whole airplane fight tank scene was really good. Like that made
was
the movie.
Yeah, that was definitely like one of the better scenes.
Like
But-
I said, I barely remember the movie, so I'd have to watch it again.
But
just to see.
did Green Arrow ever meet like the Ninja Turtles in any comics? I don't remember that happening. It happened in the movie.
Shut up, dude. Green Arrow.
Wait, that's just what's happening, right?
Well,
It's the Green Arrow.
We will talk about this, but there is a Batman and Ninja Turtles crossover comic book.
Oh
yes,
yes,
so,
that's right, there is.
Yeah.
You know, like actually thinking about it now.
And Green Arrow is the Batman of the CW universe. So, I don't know.
I'm thinking about it right now, and it's actually kind of scaring me. I think I liked the first one overall more than the second, because though the second one had elements that I loved and that all
Dying
three
to
of us
see.
have been, and any Ninja Turtle fan has been dying to see, I think there was just worse aspects of this one than in the first one. While the first one was kind of like, it was like, and then it just kind of hit like this plateau of like, meh. While the other one, like, for God's sake, and I wanted to punch a wall when I heard this. How did Rocksteady and Bebop evolve? Every human has other animal DNA in them that's dormant or whatever. So Rocksteady had rhino DNA in him, and Bebop had. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
And Bebop had warthog DNA in them, so they turn into.
Look,
It's garbage.
Look,
it's garbage science. That's
garbage.
That's called lazy
that's okay.
scripting.
Like,
lazy
but that's
writing.
okay.
But the thing is, why? Hold on. Why didn't they just go? Okay, this is like an animal serum. Like literally, that would have been better than them trying to explain they have dormant animal DNA.
Do you know why? The same reason Donatello was able to find out where this metal coming out of thin air comes from, and who the boss is.
Yeah, they call him Krang. Okay.
They call him Krang. No one on this earth calls him Krang. No one on this earth even knows that they exist. He didn't find that shit on the internet. Do you know why they did that? Do you know why the mention of all that shit was? Specifically for the children. I think Part 2 was a better movie because when you take your child to go see the first one, your child's going to walk out exactly like you, like...
That was boring.
Yeah. Whatever. I guess.
True.
But if you go take your child to Part 2, imagine if we were all just finished watching that Ninja Turtle show and we went in to watch this movie.
It's super exciting.
Yeah.
It's exactly like the television show.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be like, yes, the greatest movie ever as a child.
But
so at least
okay, so you're saying that the community rating will be higher on the second one.
On the second one, due to the fact that it actually hits a target audience. And it works for that target audience.
You are absolutely right.
Part 1 had no target. I don't care what anybody says. They were planning on making them aliens.
Yeah.
Once it hit,
it was for Transformers fans.
And it hit nothing. It didn't hit anyone's mark. Nothing. Except that song. That song hit a target mark. I'm happy with that song. I think it suits them.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, you were about to get shell shocked. That song was pretty hot. But, you know what? I can't bitch about the second one. It's so hard because the second one had such stupid shit in it.
But it was exactly the cartoon. But you complaining about it would be complaining about the cartoon.
But I do complain about the cartoon because it's pretty bad. But the thing is, You're absolutely right, because I loved the cartoon as a kid, and if I saw that movie as a kid, like if I saw the new movie as a kid, I would have been like, "This is amazing!" With the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles song at the end, like Bebop and Rocksteady, Krang, super crazy, stupid fight scenes. This nigga puts skates on his shoes or whatever.
You
Like,
would have thought that was the greatest idea in the world
what?
as a kid.
Oh, I would have been like, I want to do that. So yeah, I totally agree.
My issue with part 2, and this is my issue with damn near almost every fucking movie, continuity issues between part 1 and part 2. Yeah, Shredder being the number 1. It's like, what? You didn't see Shredder's face in part 2, but you saw that his face was kind of fucked up. The dude was much taller, bald, and now all of a sudden you can see this guy and he's like much younger and this
He's
doesn't
like
make
clean. He's like clean cut with the beard and
this
mustache and
doesn't make
shit.
any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And then when he wore his regular costume, that was like, what? That's Shredder. That's a terrible Shredder costume.
To be honest, I didn't.
And he was barely in the movie.
I didn't mind it because I was like, he's not all like. Yeah, I understand. Like people are gonna like give me flack for this. I actually like how simple he was because he was a ninja. You know what I mean? He had the helmet, and he was just like a ninja. He had like almost like a stealth suit.
No,
but the only problem is he was like, "Oh, you tricked me," and he went like this, and then Krang was like, "Okay, freeze away, bye." Like
that.
And he only put on his helmet once, and it was for that part.
That was my issue. That was part of my issue.
When he was frozen, he was brought down. How many of you guys try to find Yoshinbo in the background frozen?
I just wanted Usagi to just be in it immediately.
I didn't even think about it.
I was like, he's got to be here. He's got to be here. Is he there? I didn't see him. Do we know for a fact if he was there as an Easter egg?
I highly
I wouldn't be surprised.
Highly doubt it.
I doubt it too.
Because I don't know if that was actually put in there, but as soon as he came down, I'm like, Usagi. Wait, what's his name? Usagi?
Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah,
well, that's the title of the book. He's actually Usagi Miyamoto.
Usagi Miyamoto, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Usagi Yojimbo, that man, I miss that bunny.
Yeah.
He's a bloody comic too. He's not even meant to be cutesy whatsoever.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
But yeah, I mean, that's my issue with that. Like I said, I can't remember it, and I don't think it's fair for me to give a
justified.
I'm not gonna give a rating right now.
Well,
for that
you don't remember Ninja Turtles 3, but you gave a rating to that.
I remember Ninja Turtles 3.
I don't remember.
Like that just burned into my head.
I don't remember Ninja Turtles 3, and I gave a rating for it. I also remember wanting to forget it. So really,
fine. Then I'll give Ninja Turtles 2. I'll give Ninja Turtle 1 a 4.
Okay, so it's just bad. It's a bad movie.
And then part 2, I'd probably rate it 4 too.
So both of them are bad movies.
Yeah. For me, I would have to rate them a 4.
I think I'll have to agree with you. Because like.
I can't bring myself to rewatch them either. I have it come up on like fucking Hulu all the time, and I'm just like, no, I'll watch something else.
I have to agree with you, but both of them were bad. I don't know if they can be merited as average. That's the thing. Both of them were just kind of like, maybe honestly, I think part 1 might be average for me. It might be 5.
I can,
because there was more. Again, there was things I loved about part 2, but way more crap that I hated. So I think I went out of that movie going, that was a bad movie. While the first one I was like, so I think part 1 I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna give it a 5, and part 2 I'm gonna give it a 4.
I walked out, said it was a bad movie for part 1. So I'll give that. I'm stuck between a 4 and a 5. Think about. It was a bad movie. It was a bad movie. Just because the elevator scene was good doesn't make it a good movie. So I give first Ninja Turtles a 4, but I'll give the second one a 6. Any kid who's a fan of the Ninja Turtles would go.
Give it like, what's your personal rating? And
I give it a 6 for me personally. I legitimately, I can watch that movie again. mind you, when I first walked out of the theater, I'm like, this movie was crap. It took me some time to think about it, and I kept thinking about the scenes. And
So you're saying it did what it was trying to do?
it did what it was trying to do.
I could totally agree with that. And again, there were some things that I liked about the movie, but there was way more that I didn't like. That's why I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6 for me. I'd give it a 6 for me because all those things that I didn't like about the movie were stupid things. Short of Megan Fox and Green Arrow. Short of those two that were actually an issue for me, everything else that I complain about, the cartoon has done. I like the cartoon, and I can ignore the bad stuff on the cartoon. I can do the bad stuff for the movie. Give it a 6.
I guess, but I'm like,
For me personally, anyway.
Okay, because like I'm trying to think of like
as
like,
a community
do
rating,
I like this like movie?
It's like a 5.
Like, I just don't.
Or a 6. Actually, as a community rating, I still give it a 6 because there's going to be guys all over the world that are like, Megan Fox.
I agree with you with the community rating. I would give it a 6 community rating. Because it's an entertaining movie. I won't deny that. It's an entertaining movie.
And there are guys that like
And there's literally guys who just go to watch it just for Megan Fox.
Yeah. So, I want to move on to probably the best
adaptation
of Ninja Turtles.
I'm sitting this one out.
Coming out of our shells.
TMNT?
Concert thing. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, let's talk about TMNT because that was a movie, and we're talking about movies right now. So
TMNT, oh thank God, I saved this.
The TMNT. Did I say that right? TMNT.
Yeah.
TMNT. Animated movie.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good. It kind of just like, all right, you got the original movies, right, and then you got the cartoons. You had the cartoon from the 80s and 90s. You had the 2003 cartoon that came out, and then that changed to some crazy Turtles in the Future type thing, and it was.
And then they came back to the present.
And then they came back. I don't know what that was about. And then you got TMNT that kind of like in its own world, kind of.
Yeah.
But like not, because at the end you saw like the Shredder's thing, you saw like the mask and the scepter from the Ninja Turtles 3. So it's like what?
And April O'Neil was like kicking ass and shit.
Yeah, it was weird. But I thought it was good.
I thought it was good. I liked how Raphael was still fighting crime and like kind of. I feel like it's something that would actually happen. Like everything felt like it would actually happen. If Leonardo left, the team would fall to shit. Donatello was, trying to make money for everybody and like keeping everyone together, being attacked.
By being attacked, this is really
funny. Michelangelo dressed up in a turtle suit.
In a turtle costume, yeah, right.
Legitimately in a turtle costume, even though he already was a turtle. He could have just pretended he was the suit, but no.
Yeah.
He dressed up. And he was making money, and then everyone was like, well, Raph, stop your complaining if you're not doing anything. But meanwhile, he's still fighting crime as like this. I liked it. I also liked, and everyone in the world would be like, it's proof! Raphael beats Leonardo right there! Oh, just cum shot all over. Leonardo didn't want to fight. Leonardo beat his ass.
In the fist fight, yep.
And told him he didn't want to fight, and tried to walk away, and then Raph started using like the ball and chain that Leonardo again wasn't used to, and yes, it ended up with Raph beating Leonardo. With Leonardo not wanting to fight him, Leonardo already beating him.
It was Batman Superman syndrome.
and on top of all of that, fighting Raphael with a weapon that he didn't even like know Raphael used, so it was a little bit of a surprise and what have you. But I liked that fight. I thought it was well done, and I agreed that Raphael should beat him with the way he was fighting because he just wasn't used to it. That doesn't mean that Raphael straight up beat Leonardo, but it was a good. I thought that was all well played. I thought the story of there were a couple good jokes in that story too, and I can't remember with like the bosses coming out. Weren't they? They were all animals, right?
Yeah.
It was like a tiger.
They're all like creatures.
Creatures, yeah. But there were jokes about them. I wish I could remember some of them because I thought they were funny, and I remember giggling like, eh. Like I thought the movie was great, and I remember thinking to myself when they announced the aliens coming out on theaters, if the new movie was a shred of the script of TMNT, it'd be worth watching. I was wrong. So wrong.
I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. I don't know. I remember walking out of the theater like that was not really entertaining.
I didn't watch it in the theater.
I have to agree with you on that. I didn't watch it in the theater. For me, it wasn't worth watching in the theater.
Yeah.
I did like it, but I liked watching it on TV.
I watched it on TV. I didn't even know it came out on theater.
Basically, a lot of what you guys said, I agreed liking. I love like the situation they were in, and all that. But just I don't know. There's just
you didn't like
Leonardo
on
for like too long.
You didn't like the female ninja falling in love with Leonardo, and they were like that bestiality that was going on.
That was always like a thing. But I don't know. I wasn't like. I remember sitting in the theater like this is kind of boring. Like
that's probably why.
I remember the one scene I did like was when it was like literally one of the only scenes that they all fought together was in the construction site when they were fighting the beast.
Yes.
That was a cool scene because it was all the turtles fighting together and like Mikey was cracking jokes and they were flipping around and stuff like that. But just everything else was like, man. I did like the confrontation with Leonardo and Raphael though, because that was honestly one of the most epic. Like that was almost like the fight to end all fights with Raphael and Leonardo. Like that was it. Like it was like all the arguments they've ever had in all the shows to this moment. Led up to that moment in that movie. But I don't know. It wasn't. I didn't like it. Like I look at the movie and I'm like. Like every time I see it like in a video store or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, that wasn't a good movie.
Really?
I don't like it.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I liked it. I liked watching it on TV. I would not.
I watch it on TV. I would not pay to watch it either.
I would not pay. I'm sad that I even paid for cable to watch it, but yeah, I would not pay. I would not pay money to watch it in the theater. It was enjoyable to watch. And I liked it because it was, like I said, it was more of a comparison to the cartoon than like the movies, right? Live action movies. So that's why I liked it. But yeah, and then the fight between Raph and Leo, obviously that's, like Johnny said, that like everything was kind of leading up to that point, to that fight. And yeah, I mean that's.
I didn't know it came out on theater. I forgot it came. No, I didn't. It's not that I didn't know. I forgot it came out on theaters.
Just went straight to. It's one of those straight to video movies.
So no, I thought it was just like a Nickelodeon special.
Oh no.
Like not Nickelodeon. Who had it at the time?
Nickelodeon had it.
Did they have it? Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They got it now.
No. They have it now. But before, who had it? When the 2003 show. Cartoon Network had it, right?
No, Four Kids, Fox, whatever
Fox.
that is.
Fox had
Fox
it.
Box. Yeah.
So I thought it was a Fox movie. I just thought it was like a direct to TV movie like that.
What the heck? Didn't we watch it together?
We watched together, but I remember being home when we watched it. So I think you watched it again with me, separate. Okay, as it being something in the movie theater, I would probably give that movie a 6 out of 10, me personally, as well as a community rating as well. I think it hit its mark.
It's kind of high.
It hit it. I think any fan of Ninja Turtles would like it.
I'm a fan of Ninja Turtles.
You didn't like it, but Joel did. So I mean,
I guess.
I think I would give it a. I think I'd have to agree with you, Chris. I think I'd give it a 6.
I'm giving it a 4. I didn't like it. I did not like it.
So do you think
this coming from the guy that only likes pizza and peanut butter sandwiches?
Okay, so
exactly. So I should be in tune with the Turtles.
So real quick. So you're saying TMNT? You're certain that TMNT is a worse movie than the first Ninja Turtles movie?
I was more entertained in the first Ninja Turtles movie.
Okay.
It's not like it was like the plot was still shit. I'm not saying that the first Ninja Turtle movie was like, oh, that was great.
Yeah, but TMNT has plot was better.
Yeah, but I feel like the Turtles were just a little better in the other one. I was more entertained in the other one.
Okay.
Which first one?
Not the original.
From Michael Bay?
The Michael Bay.
First Michael Bay one. I was
Yeah.
more entertained by the Turtles in that one than I was in the other one. The other one was just, it was the biggest...
There were parts that were quite boring in TMNT, but
I'm sorry.
I don't
the Michael
know.
Bay ones are not better than that.
Yeah, no. I can't say that the Michael Bay ones were better than that. There were parts of the Michael Bay movies that were kind of entertaining, and it was more of like, what the fuck? Like laughing at it because it's like, what the fuck?
Well, I felt like part 2 was like that. I don't know. I don't know. That's just the way I don't know. I was more entertained by the first Michael Bay film.
Again.
Well, I think you're crazy.
Well,
okay. All right.
Okay. Here's the thing. In TMNT, the Turtles were turtles. In the Michael Bay film, they were taking down Hummers with their shells.
No, they are mutant Ninja Turtles.
Here we go. You can't justify that.
My thing is, I feel like TMNT was a better movie than those two movies. I'm sorry, TMNT was a better movie than those two movies.
I don't.
I have to agree with. I agree with Chris.
I stand my ground when I say that the first Michael Bay one, I was more entertained with.
Well, you can stand your ground. We don't like you.
It's
okay. Never have, never will.
Okay. So TMNT, your grade was 6. 6, and yours 4.
4.
Okay. What was the other turtle movie where the two cartoons met up? What was it called? Shadow Dimensions?
What?
That was the TV.
That was the
movie.
The TV movie.
Where the 2003 met the 1980 cartoon.
Oh,
and then they ended up going back. They ended up going to
Forever or something like that?
Turtles Forever.
Forever, that's what it's called.
And then they ended up going to the original comic. Remember at the end?
Here's my. I want to review that. Well, I mean, we'll eventually break down, probably maybe in later podcasts, movies specifically.
Yeah.
I want to break that one down specifically because I've yet to watch that movie. I've only watched the end of it.
Me neither, and I can't believe
I can't find it anywhere. I can't download it anywhere. I can't find it.
It's a couple episodes.
Yeah, I remember when it was first airing. I wanted to catch it.
No, but they put it into they put it all together. Like you would watch it all together.
I'll have to find it.
But we need to find it because every time I go to look for it, I can't find it. But okay, here we go. The next one that Johnny's gonna sit out. That's gonna make me cry.
We'll make this the last topic that we talk about as far as Ninja Turtles go.
In terms of movies, anyway.
Yeah. Well, this one really isn't a movie either.
It's something that's horrible. So.
All right. So this will be the last topic for this episode of our podcast is the Ninja Turtles coming out of their shell musical special.
Pizza power. All right, that's all I have to say about that.
This was the biggest piece of crap
ever. Generous.
This is the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen in my entire existence.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, since I can't say much on this because I've actually never watched it, fully anyway. I have seen plenty of clips. Did you guys like it at all as a kid?
As a kid, we have to be honest.
Be honest.
Chris had the VHS. You guys had the VHS. We would watch it a couple times because we did it, or we were amused watching it.
I bet you are.
Watching it now. I want to rip my eyes out. It was the biggest, like I said, it was the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen.
I've seen most of it.
Are you kidding me? We were jumping around singing Pizza Power.
I mean,
we loved it
at the time.
As children.
Yeah, because we were Ninja Turtle fans. Anybody that was a Ninja Turtle fan, if you were a child Ninja Turtle fan at that time, you fucking love that thing.
You know what's funny?
You watch it now, I'm telling you, man.
I
could shit out a better special than that.
I was watching a lot of it on YouTube one day, and it's funny because if you go back, I don't know if you remember this, but if you go back and you watch that, if you look at the freaking crowd when they're doing the pizza, like sometimes they like pan to the crowd to see how they were, like literally all the kids are like. Like they're just standing there like completely unamused. It is hilarious.
Like it was bad.
Like yo, Mikey.
Like there was like a story that was like built into it.
Yeah.
And it was like story didn't make any sense.
They're like talking,
There
and
were
like Shredder started coming out, and he's
there
like,
were cut scenes that made no fun. Like the costumes were just horrendous. Turtles didn't have any shells, by the way. It's like they
had, like,
literally
jackets.
came out of their shells. Like
literally.
at that point, they were just lizards. Okay,
There's reptiles.
All right, it was
It's a 1.
It was. I'm not even gonna give it a rating. It
It's a
doesn't
1.
deserve a rating on our
It's a
scale.
1.
It's a 0.
It's a 1.
It's a 0.
It's a 1.
It's that thing is
Because
it's a
Johnny
fucking
always
0.
asks me when we talk about like Batman v Superman, and I go it's a 2. Johnny's like, "What? You think it's that? What's even a 1 in your book?" And I go, "Jesus Christ, what's it? Jesus Christ Superstar? No, that's not
No. Godspell.
Godspell." And I look at him and I say, "Godspell," and he's like, "Do you really think that was that bad?" I'm like, "Jesus Christ has an afro and is wearing a Superman shirt. Yes, it is that bad. And this is another one that is that bad. That is that horrible that you watch it and you just and it's a musical and it's messed up. But Godspell, you'll watch Godspell and you'll watch Ninja Turtles and coming out of their shells, and you'll come out feeling the same. I like you feel molested
and dirty and dirty.
That is a very
accurate,
delicate way of putting it, I guess.
Like
watching this, you feel like you were molested.
So I'm guessing this is a 1 in your book.
It's a 1. It's a 1. It's bad.
This is half.
Half of a rating.
That's how bad it is.
Can't
for
be
me.
a 0.
It's,
Can't be a 0.
Well,
If our ratings
all right,
go,
so we don't have halves in our ratings. So.
No. If our ratings go from red sun to white sun, it was a black hole.
Yes, exactly.
It was a non-existent sun.
It was, yeah. It's I can't. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you.
It was a 4, wasn't it?
It's not a 4. Definitely not a 4.
Or a 3, where it was funny.
It's not a
Great.
no.
It's
It's not
nothing
even
about
funny.
that is...
It's not like
It's not even funny.
No, it really
there was
isn't.
there was a section in that movie, like in the beginning, where they were discussing the Ninja Turtles going, on tour or whatever. Like it was supposed to be like these fake news reports as part of the story. And there was a part where they were being interviewed. I don't remember. I forgot who was interviewing them, but they were on a talk show, and it was the Turtles and April and somebody. I think it was Raph in that thing. He was like, "Yeah, well, I spoke to April about having an interspecies relationship or something." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, what the fuck?
I'm all casual. I talked to April about having an interspecies relationship.
Yeah, I was like, what?
But she turned my turtle dick down. Fucking stupid.
It's man. I can't.
Half a rating,
It's got to be like a half a rating. We have to make an exception here. I'm sorry.
No. There's 1, and then below 1 is just coming out of their shells. That's the rating.
that's a rating. It's from coming out of their shells to 10. What do you feel?
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's
it.
Yeah, that's. All right.
So
that's
with that said, I think when we post this, I'll put up some links for coming out of the show,
yes,
so people can kind
do.
of watch that and then see what's what.
Do we
they can
rate
watch that.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2? We rated part 3. I gave it a 2.
I think.
I didn't rate part 2, but I think part 2 will be 5 or 6. I can't decide. I think a 6. A 6 definitely for Community. I think a 6 because it was alright.
The fans that like Ninja Turtles would like the movie, yeah. So I think it's a.
And I remember,
I think it's a 7 because I thoroughly enjoy it. It pisses me off with Super Shredder. and Vanilla Ice.
Oh my freaking!
Oh my god, I forgot about
And
that.
Super Shredder pushing a pillar and it kills him. But
Literally,
I remember
2 seconds. Of
Kevin
Super Shredder.
Nash.
It's just like,
I-
what the
I-
hell?
2 seconds of Kevin Nash.
that
and
was
a
Kevin
Shredder.
Nash, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Kevin Nash.
That's hilarious. Whatchamacallit, and I remember liking it as a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what is that? 10 for part 1.
10 for part 1, hands down.
About an average of 6 for part 2.
Yeah.
Part
Part 3
was
we all
2.
said 3 or 2.
Oh, we said 3. Cause
I
I'm
said
pretty sure it's
3.
funny.
There's a 3.
Yeah, I agreed with 3. I agree because it's funny to watch.
TMNT, I said 4. These guys liked it a lot more than me.
We were both at
Both
6.
6, right?
6.
The first Michael Bay, I gave it a 5.
I don't remember. It was pretty low.
I think you gave it a 4 because I gave it I was stuck between you two.
Yeah.
I'll probably lean the 4. The second Michael Bay film.
I gave it a 4 just because it's just below average for
I think
me.
I gave that a
4.
4.
I'm the one who gave it a 6 because I was like I was entertained. Like I look past all. I can't look past all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I might change that and make it a 5. I can't look past April O'Neil. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Megan Fox wearing the schoolgirl outfit. It
And
drops
an
to a
arrow.
5.
An arrow.
Yeah, Green Arrow.
All right.
But yeah, with that, we'll finish this podcast up, and we'll talk about Ninja Turtles, the cartoon, and the video games, and some of the comic books.
All right.
All right.
See
Till
you
next
guys.
time. Later.